Nagari greeted his mother with a good morning, picked up his lunch, and left for school. However, once at school, he became the target of severe bullying. A group of students surrounded him, drew a target on his stomach, and began kicking him without mercy. The ones responsible were 4 students. The fat one was named Ajiki. The girl was Shirjimi. The third was Kinugawa, and the last one was Kawis. The beating was so intense that Nagari lost control and wet himself. The urine spread and touched Kinugawa's shoes. In a rage, Kinugawa kicked him even harder and shouted at him, demanding to know if he understood how expensive those shoes were. At that moment, their leader Okaya arrived. He told Kinugawa that he had already warned him not to hit Nagari's face. Kinugawa immediately backed off and apologized. But Okaya wasn't done. He crushed Nagari's lunchbox and filled it with cockroaches and other insects. When Nagari refused to eat it, Okaya forcefully shoved the lunch into his mouth. They were all targeting Nagari for a single reason. Okaya couldn't stand the look in Nagari's eyes, which he described as rebellious. After school, Nagari quietly returned home. His mother had prepared a small party and a cake, as it was his 14th birthday. When Maria saw the wound on his face, she gently asked what happened. Nagari just smiled and replied that he had gotten trapped at school. Maria, who had nursing experience, carefully treated his injury and applied a bandage. Later that night, she called Nagari's father and told him about her concern that their son was being bullied. But his father dismissed her worry, calling her overprotective, and ended the call. Lying in bed and playing games, Nagari suddenly received a disturbing video. It showed his mother involved in an affair. He immediately realized it was fake because the voice didn't match his mother's. Right after that, he received a message from Kawis, asking him to come to the observatory. Nagari made his way to the observatory on the mountain, where the whole group was already gathered. They started insulting his mother, calling her names like expired auntie. Okaya then gave him an ultimatum. If Nagari didn't want the fake video of his mother to be spread, he had to jump from the mountain. Without hesitation, and in order to protect his mother's dignity, Nagari jumped. At the same time, Maria had been tracking her son through a phone app and arrived near the mountain. Suddenly, she saw her son lying on the road, his legs completely broken. She ran toward him, but before she could help, a truck ran over him, killing him instantly. Maria collapsed to the ground, holding what was left of her son, crying in grief. The bullies, terrified by what happened, quickly ran away to avoid being arrested. Back at home, Maria lay in bed, broken by the tragedy. When Nagari's father apologized for not protecting their son, she rejected his apology and told him they were supposed to be parents. Days later, Maria found Nagari's diary. Inside it was every detail of what he had suffered. She also discovered his laptop, where he had saved all the evidence. As she went through everything, she came to a terrifying realization. The ones who had done this were no longer human. They were demons in need of judgment. 2 years passed, and Maria reappeared at the same school, not as a parent, but as the school nurse. One day, Okaya walked into the infirmary holding a poster that said, "No bullying." Maria held her emotions back and told him he was very admirable. Having killed her old self, she couldn't afford to make a single mistake. On the school grounds, Kawis was seen bullying a girl named Yajima. He showed her a secret video of her changing clothes and forced her to bring him 30,000 yen every month. Maria approached them and asked what was going on. Kawis quickly made up a lie, saying Yajima had puked and he was helping her. Before walking away, he threatened Yajima not to tell anyone, or he'd release her video. Later, Kawis bragged to his friends about almost being caught by the nurse. His friends warned him that if they ever got exposed, they'd kill him. Kawis reassured them, saying no one had found out what really happened to Nagari 2 years ago. Suddenly, Okaya appeared behind him and asked if he had mentioned Nagari's name. He told Kawis to never speak that name again, explaining how much he had hated his rebellious eyes. In an attempt to please Okaya, Kawis pulled out some money to offer him. Okaya didn't even look at it and walked away. Standing there, Kawis remembered Nagari's words, that Okaya didn't actually care about him. Now, those words were starting to feel true. Back at home, Kawis received 2 terrifying videos. One showed him bullying Nagari, something he thought was deleted years ago. The other was a personal and humiliating clip of himself. A message followed, demanding 3 million yen. It was sent by Maria. Still stressed, Kawis saw Yajima walking nearby and angrily approached her. He demanded satisfaction, claiming he was irritated. Yajima ignored him and tried to escape. Since she never acted like this before, Kawis believed she had sent the videos. He dragged her away and began torturing her, trying to force the truth out. Even though she repeatedly denied any involvement, he kept going and tried to drown her. At that moment, Maria entered and disappeared with him in an instant. Kawis woke up in a tank with his hand chained. Water started pouring into the tank. Maria stood before him and welcomed him calmly. Kawis thought it was some kind of prank or set up by someone else. But when he saw Maria's expression, he realized it was real. She told him he was being punished for stealing something precious from her. Now, she would steal his oxygen. Kawis assumed it was revenge for Yajima and claimed he was only playing. Maria told him to shut up and gave him a final chance. If he could enter the greatest sin he had ever committed, he could escape. Kawis searched through his memories and decided to enter the date of Nagari's death. But he didn't even remember when they killed him. Instead of feeling regret, he cursed Nagari for not dying on a holiday. The water in the tank kept rising. With no other choice, he had to cut off his hand using a blade. At first, he refused, but desperation took over. He pressed the blade into his skin and began slicing. When he reached the bone, the knife got stuck. It wasn't sharp enough. Kawis struggled but couldn't go through with it. Eventually, he drowned. Maria pulled his lifeless body from the tank and hugged it tightly. She whispered that the greatest sin he had ever committed was simply being born. Days later, Okaya tried calling Kawis, but received no answer. Then, Nagari's father, Taichiro, who worked as a detective, arrived at the school. He stood in front of Okaya to begin an investigation into Kawis' disappearance. Okaya warmly greeted Taichiro, speaking with respect and friendliness. He even requested Taichiro to help find Kawis as quickly as possible. During their conversation, Taichiro mentioned his son, Nagari, reminding Okaya that they used to be classmates. Okaya's expression instantly shifted, and he put on a sad face as he called Nagari's death a tragic accident. Taichiro smiled gently, saying it brought him comfort that the students still remembered his son. He also shared that ever since Maria divorced him, he had never spoken about their son with anyone. Meanwhile, Kinugawa and the others were at a restaurant. He grew annoyed seeing how the others behaved as if everything was normal, so he brought up Kawis' sudden disappearance. But Shirokimi dismissed his concern, saying she didn't care and told Kinugawa to stop thinking about it. This angered Kinugawa. He insisted that Kawis was still their friend. Shirokimi rolled her eyes, told him not to get emotional, and left, saying she had plans to go fishing. Later, Shirokimi was seen in a hotel room with an adult man. Before anything could happen, another man barged in, accusing the adult of trying to sleep with a minor. It became clear that Shirokimi had set the situation up intentionally for money. While showering afterward, her thoughts drifted to Okaya. At school, Kawis' homeroom teacher approached Maria, asking about his whereabouts. Maria calmly replied that she didn't know anything. But as the teacher turned to leave, she brought up a matter concerning Shirokimi, who was one of his students. Shortly after, Shirokimi came storming toward Kinugawa and the fat student, furious. She accused them of revealing her side job. Maria had told the teacher about Shikimi's actions, but Shirokimi assumed Kinugawa and the fat one were the ones who had snitched. She was about to attack Kinugawa when he grabbed her leg and demanded she stop accusing her own friends. Unbeknownst to them, Maria stood behind the door, silently watching everything unfold. Her investigation was over. It was now time to act. A while ago, Nagari had been falsely accused of stealing Shikimi's gym clothes after they were found in his bag. Despite his desperate denial, no one had believed him. That incident had completely destroyed his image in the class. Maria had discovered all of this in Nagari's notes. Now, Shirokimi had become her next target. The following day, Okaya gathered everyone and revealed that Kawis had been missing for 3 weeks. Despite the police looking into it, there were no leads. Some believed he had gone on a trip or met with an accident, but Okaya suspected something darker. He might have been murdered. He warned them to stay alert, as it seemed like someone was targeting them. Later in class, Shirokimi searched her bag and realized her gym clothes were missing. When she questioned her classmates, Kinugawa snapped at her, telling her to shut up. In the heat of their argument, she kicked his bag. When it spilled open, her missing gym clothes fell out. Enraged, Shirokimi confronted Kinugawa. He fired back, yelling that she was framing him, just like she did with Nagari. Everyone in the classroom heard the outburst. Panicking, Shirokimi laughed it off, claiming it was just an act. To shift attention, she repeated her accusation and said Kinugawa stole her clothes during her chemistry class. Kinugawa responded that he had been in the toilet, but she refused to believe him. At that moment, Maria entered the classroom and calmly stated that Kinugawa had been with her during that time. She asked Shirokimi to explain herself. Kinugawa backed her up, saying Maria had called him in for a consultation before class. Shirokimi realized she was losing control of the situation. To divert blame, she pointed fingers at a random boy who was just reading manga. But it was too late. No one believed her anymore. The class murmured about Nagari and mocked Shirokimi, saying no one would want her gym clothes anyway. Maria stepped in and told everyone to stop, reminding them there was no evidence. She warned Shirokimi that if she kept accusing others, she would soon be left completely alone. But the damage was done. Everyone looked at her with cold eyes. Shirokimi shoved Maria aside and stormed out, insisting she wasn't a loner. Maria followed and caught up to her, softly saying, "You're such a pitiful child, aren't you?" That single sentence froze Shirokimi. It turns out Maria had planted her gym clothes in Kinugawa's bag after calling him into a meeting. Everything was part of her plan. And it worked perfectly. Later, Shirkimi sat in a car with a man, determined to take revenge on Maria. That night, as Maria headed home, a group of men ambushed her. She tried to escape but got caught. At home, Shirkimi waited, expecting news of Maria's defeat. Instead, the door opened, and Maria entered with icy eyes. The next thing Shirkimi knew, she was tied up and hanging over a large pit. It was time for her judgment. Maria explained how she dealt with the attackers, tossed two of them and seduced the ringleader into a trap. From him, she also learned everything about Shikimi's plan. Maria told her that she and Kawis had no awareness of the pain they had caused. Hearing Kawis' name, Shirkimi finally understood why he vanished. Now it was her turn. A candle slowly burned the rope she was hanging from. Below her, the pit was filled with swarming insects. But Maria gave her one chance. She could send a message to one person without revealing her situation. At first, Shirkimi felt relieved, until she saw the phone had no SIM card. Maria showed her a box full of blades and said the SIM had accidentally fallen in. Now, Shirkimi had to use her mouth to search for it. She tried moving the cutters with her face but got cut right away. Tears filled her eyes as she cried, asking why this was happening. Maria told her to stop pretending to be a victim. She explained that Shikimi's suffering was nothing but the outcome of her own cruelty. Suddenly, Shirkimi recalled how she forced Nagari to search for his keys in the nail box with his mouth. And now she knew. Maria was Nagari's mother. Shirkimi realized Maria's final goal, Okaya. Despite her own fear of pain, she plunged her face into the box, frantically searching for the SIM. Her feelings for Okaya were so strong that she didn't care about herself anymore. All that mattered was warning him. Eventually, she found the SIM, but her face and mouth were covered in cuts. When Maria allowed her to choose someone to message, she picked Okaya. But when she opened their chat, she saw a harsh truth. She was the only one who ever tried talking to him. He had never cared. Still, she asked Maria to send the message. "If you like me, come to this place immediately." She wanted to send that message, however, she doesn't have courage and messaged the guy who she has sent before to attack Maria. In the message, she told him she had a new target who could get the money. But the man rejected her and cursed her in response. It turned out that during their time at the hotel, Maria had revealed everything to him, how Shirkimi used him and insulted him on private social media. Shikimi's habit of using people had caught up with her. Now she was alone. Even then, she didn't regret anything. She believed Okaya would eventually kill Maria and reunite her with Nagari. Without another word, Maria cut the rope. Shirkimi fell into the hole. When she landed, she discovered the ground was coated in honey. The insects swarmed her, drawn to the sweet scent, and began devouring her alive. Only then did she begin to cry and beg for forgiveness. But it was already far too late. After some days, Kinugawa and Okaya were interrogating a gangster who used to be in Shikimi's gangster team. While crying, Kinugawa asked him where Shirkimi was, but the guy didn't know where she was. In the end, even after beating the guy severely, they didn't get any answer. Then, Okaya revealed his thoughts about the situation. Okaya concludes that Shirkimi didn't know where Kawis went, and Kawis most likely didn't have any connection with Shikimi's gangster team. Meaning, questioning those gangsters will get them nothing. So, Okaya assumes that the one who killed Shikim and Kawis is most likely Nagari's parents. Now, Ijima, who used to be with Shirkimi, is a concern left for Maria. At the day when she eliminated Shirkimi, she kidnapped Ijima and questioned him. Meaning, if Ijima got caught by police, he will most likely call out Maria's name, which will cause problems for Maria. On the day when she kidnapped him, she didn't kill him because he wasn't her target. But now after a week, she has realized that even if she doesn't kill him, she has to remove every point of concern. Since the day Maria has killed Shirkimi, Ijima has not gone home. There's also a chance that he might run away due to the fact that Shirkimi might expose his crimes. Regardless, before the police find him, Maria has to find Ijima before them. Maria knows that Ijima always conducts his trades in the club every week, so she went to a club to find him. But while she was looking for him, Kinugawa spotted her and asked her what she was doing in a club. She answered that clubs are meant for adults, so she can come here. But Kinugawa is still suspicious because he thinks that Maria isn't the type of woman to come to a club. Suddenly, he remembers that when Shikim's gym clothes appeared in his bag, and after that she stopped coming to school. The last person that went after her was Maria. Hearing that, Maria realized that if she gave a straight answer to him, she'd most likely get caught. So, she started crying in front of Kinugawa, saying that she already knew that it was her fault. Maria said that when Shirkimi started accusing everything during that gym clothes incident, she went to her and told her that if she kept on accusing everyone, she would become very miserable. While crying, Maria said to Kinugawa that if she had chosen different words at that time, Shirokimi would have been fine. Seeing her crying, Kinugawa didn't ask further questions and said to her that he already knew she hadn't done anything wrong. When Kinugawa was about to leave, Maria stopped him and asked if he had any hint about where Shirokimi would have gone. Kinugawa answered that it's none of her business, but she started shouting saying that she's Shikimi's teacher, so she has to do anything she can to find her. Right then, Kinugawa spotted Ijima and immediately jumped him. But it turns out that the guy just had a hairstyle that was like Ijima's. Still, Kinugawa didn't stop and was about to hit the guy, asking him why he has such a misleading hairstyle. Before he could hit him, Maria grabbed his hand, telling that violence is bad. But Kinugawa was so strong that he easily broke free from Maria's grip and hit the ground. While crying, Kinugawa finally answered Maria's question, saying that Kawase and Shirokimi are already dead. And now he's trying to find the one who killed them so he could punish them. Kinugawa is the type of guy who will do anything for his friends, even if it means using violence to fulfill his friends' wishes. Now that his two friends have died, he's really angry. No matter who came in his path, he will take down anyone. Now that he used a violence on a guy, the guard arrived there and asked him to come with him. But Kinugawa didn't listen and beat down the guard. Suddenly, a police officer arrived there, which caused Kinugawa to run away. That police officer was Taiichiro, Maria's ex-husband. Seeing him, Maria also left the club immediately. It turns out that the police have already found Ijima. When Maria went home and turned on the TV to see the news, she learned that police had found the body of a man on K Mountain. She was shocked to see that the body that police had found was Ijima's. After the investigation, it was revealed that Ijima was killed by someone a week ago. Police also found out that last time Ijima was seen leaving a building in T-Town. So, the police have decided to go there to further investigate. Meanwhile, Maria is also wondering how Ijima died. 1 week ago, when Sikkim used her chance to message Ijima, he was well alive, as he also messaged back. And from Kinugawa's reaction that she saw in the club, she also can't be the culprit. Ijima has his own enemy, but the timing is too perfect to just brush it off as a coincidence. As she found with Ijima and her group while keeping the placement of cameras in mind, there's a chance the one who killed Ijima was at the scene. She wonders if the culprit knows her. In the meantime, Kinugawa is getting angry because Ijima died without his permission. While Kinugawa wasn't thinking straight, Okaya and Ajiki were taking everything into consideration to try to find out if the Shirokimi and Kawase case is related to this Ijima's death or not. Okaya assumes that Ijima's isn't killed by the one who killed Shirokimi and Kawase, because Ijima's body was easily found by police, like an amateur doing a bad job in his work. On the other hand, in Shirokimi and Kawase's case, no evidence has been left behind by the culprit, which means a third party has entered the game. Meanwhile, Maria is thinking that if Ijima was killed due to a personal grudge, there wouldn't be any issue for her. However, the timing is just too perfect for that. She assumes that this occurrence has something to do with her revenge. She assumes that the culprit knows the relationship between her and Ijima, and for some reason decided to commit a crime to keep their relationship secret. If this is the reason, there's a possibility that the culprit would try to come in contact with her. Right then, Yajima entered the room and asked Maria if she had free time to talk to her. When Maria asked her to say what she wanted, she revealed that she was at the place when Kawase went missing. Hearing that, Maria wondered if she was seen by her. If Maria was seen by Yajima, there's a chance she also knows about all the things she's done until now. She said that she was getting tortured by Kawase at the moment he disappeared. She said that she was too scared to become a suspect to the police. So, she kept it a secret. In the end, it turns out that Yajima didn't see Maria committing any crime. To comfort Yajima, she hugged her and said that her secret will be safe with her. After that, Maria went to a shop and asked the boy to tell her about the Ijima's incident. This shopkeeper boy is Yuda, who used to study in the same class as Nagari. Yuda was also getting bullied by those four who used to bully Nagari. While sitting in the car, Yuda demands to know how Maria knew it was him. She revealed that she learned about him from the notes that Nagari had left behind. She learned that Yuda was supposed to be dropped out from the school, but she spotted him wearing the school uniform and following her via security cameras in school. And also the only that would have been benefited from Ijima's murder was Maria, and the only reason culprit would help her is because that person is also a victim. This was all the reason that led Maria to Yuda. After confirming it was Yuda who killed Ijima, she asked him why he decided to help her. He revealed that from the start he always ran away from his problems. Yuda still regrets how he left behind Nagari to suffer in school, and he alone ran away. After Nagari died, Yuda couldn't stand seeing the one who killed Nagari, living a happy and peaceful life. From that moment, he decided to punish them. Yuda's first target was Kawis. He wanted to crush his eyes and slit his throat. He wants to rob him of his ability to scream and slice open his stomach. He wanted to pull out his intestines and stuff it into his mouth. But he was too scared to do it. When he lost all hope, Maria appeared before his eyes. Yuda followed her around and saw killing Kawis. Even though Yuda wanted to assist her, she did her job so perfectly that Yuda wasn't able to provide any help. One day, he saw Maria with Ijima. He knew that Ijima is linked to Shirkimi, and to destroy all evidence, Maria should kill her. But he couldn't believe that she let him live. So, he thought that he should kill him to help Maria. In the end, he killed Ijima and buried him near the road. After revealing everything, Yuda asked her to use him for her revenge however she wants. But Maria suddenly pulled out her mobile and showed that she had recorded everything that Yuda said. She said that she has all the evidence now which she can use to make Yuda the prime suspect for all the crimes she has committed until now. Saying that, she asked him to get out of her car. After he left, she rode her car away thinking that if she had killed Ijima in the hotel that day, then Yuda would haven't entered this mess. She didn't want the guy who Nagari saved to commit crimes and go to jail. At night, Kinugawa was infiltrating Nagari's house to find evidence. Because Okaya said that Nagari's parents are the prime suspects, that's why Kinugawa is here to find evidence. While Kinugawa was searching the house, Yuda was standing outside ready to record the video. He is doing this to show his value to Maria and help her in her revenge. But before he could do that, Taichiro also arrived outside the house. When Yuda saw Taichiro entering the house, he knew that if Kinugawa got caught here, the revenge plan would be all for nothing. So to make Kinugawa know someone was coming, he dropped a stone in the house. Without wasting a moment, Kinugawa hid on the balcony. Seeing the broken window, Taichiro thought that some naughty kid threw a stone and just left the room. Kinugawa thought that he was safe and decided to enter the room again to continue his search. But immediately after he stepped inside the room, Taichiro came back because he was suspicious. Seeing him, Kinugawa didn't wait a moment and decided to knock out Taichiro and run away. But Taichiro was surprisingly strong and easily overpowered Kinugawa. So to knock him out, Kinugawa picked up the family picture and broke it. This made Taichiro really angry. But before he could do anything, Kinugawa threw the picture toward him and then launched a barrage of punches at Taichiro's face. Even after getting severely beaten, Taichiro tried to save not himself but a picture of his family. After that, Kinugawa just left the place to save himself. When he left, he looked around to see who threw a rock to save him and spotted. Yuda tried to run away from him, but he eventually got caught. But before Kinugawa could do anything, Maria sent him flying by crashing a car into him. In the next moment, Kinugawa found himself tied up with target points around his body. Then, Maria came there holding a crossbow and said, "It's time for the hunt." Even though Kinugawa was tied up, he still got up and tried to kick her, but she dodged it. When he was about to attack her again, Kinugawa noticed that his one leg was really injured. Sitting on the ground, Kinugawa asked her why she killed his friends. So, she showed him a video in which he is bullying Nagari. Seeing the video and remembering Okaya telling him the culprits are most likely Nagari's parents, Kinugawa finally realized that Maria is Nagari's mother. Kinugawa called the Maria's reason for killing his friends stupid. He said that Nagari was stupid and kept getting in their way, that's why they just taught him a little lesson. Kinugawa is getting angry just because Nagari died without their permission. He started saying that Nagari was causing them trouble before, and now that he has died, his mother is causing them trouble. So to shut him up, Maria shot an arrow in his mouth. Maria explained to him the rules of the game that they're about to play. The rules are simple: if Kinugawa survives until the fireworks display ends, it'll be his victory. Many people are firing fireworks today, but today's a festival. Kinugawa immediately runs inside the forest thinking that he'll pretend to run away and will catch Myra when she tries to catch him. Even though his leg is injured, his mouth is pierced with an arrow, he's still smiling. It turns out that Maria already knew what he's thinking and decided to play along with it because she doesn't want to give him a peaceful death. While running, Kinugawa broke the arrow by biting it, and then removed it from his mouth using his tongue as his hands were tied up. Using the broken piece of arrow, he freed himself. Some time later, Maria also arrived there while finding Kinugawa. It turns out that Kinugawa was waiting for her while hiding in the tree, and immediately when he saw her, he jumped down to attack her. But Maria already knew his plan, and shot him with an arrow. That arrow pierced his ear and pinned him to the tree. Even though it was a perfect chance for Maria to kill, she gave him another chance and asked him to use his brain this time. Kinugawa took that chance, and to free himself from the arrow, he tore his ear into 2 points and ran away. Even after doing that, he didn't show any expression of being scared or being in pain. After some running, he found a building. This is the same place where he used to torment Nagari. In the meantime, Okaya and Ajiki were at the festival. It's been 30 minutes since Okaya messaged Kinugawa, but he hasn't received any answer. So, Okaya assumed that Kinugawa had been caught. Somehow, Okaya knows that Kinugawa didn't get caught by the police. It turns out that Okai has installed GPS on all of his friends' mobiles, so he knows where Kinugawa actually is. Without wasting a moment, Okaya and Ajiki leave the festival to go and save Kinugawa. While sitting in the car, Ajiki asked Okaya if he really saw them as his friends. When Okaya answered yes, Ajiki asked him about his definition of friends. Okaya answered that friend means ally. Friends are the one who helped each other during hard times, that's why the more friends you have the better. Hearing that, Ajiki asked him about why he is enjoying this situation and seeing his friends dying. Okaya answered with a concerned face that he's not enjoying seeing his friend die. Ajiki knows that Okaya is enjoying the situation but he himself isn't aware of it. So, he asked him why he gets angry at his friends whenever they talk about Nagari. He asked Okaya about his relationship with Nagari. Okaya said that he considered Nagari his enemy because no matter how much they bully him, he never ran away. This is the reason why he liked tormenting Nagari the most. After saying that, he asked Ajiki that they should now focus on finding Kinugawa. Okaya assumes that he's still alive because the one who has captured Kinugawa will first bully him and kill painfully. As Kinugawa is really strong, there's a chance they might be able to save him. Meanwhile, Kinugawa entered the building and looking around, he remembered how he used to play with Nagari here. In this place, Kinugawa used to play a game of hide and seek with Nagari. If Nagari got caught within 30 minutes, he'll get punished. In the present, when Kinugawa entered a room where Nagari used to hide, the room exploded. Kinugawa got caught in fire and got really injured. Right then, Maria also arrived there and asked the injured Kinugawa if he had already died. As Kinugawa is really strong, he ignored the pain and tried to run away. But before he could run away, Maria shot her in the shoulder. Seeing how Kinugawa is enduring all the pain, she asked him if he's some kind of monster. Then, she led an angry Kinugawa to a second room. When Kinugawa reached the room, Maria opened the door and some arrows came flying and hit Kinugawa at different places. The things that pierced him weren't arrows, but some little spiky rods that were connected with wires. Before he took them out, Maria turned on the electricity which caused Kinugawa to get shocked all over his body. He thought that he'd survive if he took out these sticky rods. He used full force to pull them out. In the process, he even had to pull out his own eye with his own hands. Now he is really injured and can't even move. He finally starts to get scared after he realizes that everything that is happening to him is the same that he did to Nagari. With that, Maria brings out a chainsaw and decides to finally end Kinugawa's life. When Kinugawa was just a kid, he used to get bullied by his own teacher. One day when he was going home after getting bullied by his teacher, Okaya stopped him and asked him if he wanted revenge. Okaya told him to come to the counseling room after class tomorrow if he wants revenge. The next day when Kinugawa went there, he saw the same teacher who used to bully him, bowing in front of Okaya. From that day onward, Kinugawa, with the help of Okaya, started bullying the teacher. One day, Okaya asked the teacher to send him the naked picture of his daughter. If he didn't send it, Okaya will report the teacher to authorities for bullying Kinugawa, which will also destroy his life. The teacher started crying, asking Okaya to not bring his daughter into this. The next day, Kinugawa was shocked to learn that the teacher has committed suicide. When he asked Okaya why he went this far, he answered that he did this just because he wanted to be friends with Kinugawa. Hearing that, Kinugawa forgot everything and decided to be friends with Okaya. In the present, while Maria is cutting his fingers and limbs slowly, he thought that Maria is similar to Okaya. One by one, and slowly, Maria chased behind Kinugawa and cut his fingers one by one. Slowly, she also cut down Kinugawa's piece of meat. Kinugawa started crying, saying that he surrendered. He asked Maria to stop and said that he'd do anything if she just let him live. Hearing his begging, Maria reminds him that Nagari also used to ask them to stop bullying in the same way, but they never stopped. At the end of some beautiful cutting session, Kinugawa is barely alive with cuts all over his body. Before killing him, Maria asked him how they could enjoy tormenting someone. She said that she tried to imitate them while killing them, but she never gets joy in killing or torturing someone. On the other hand, Ajiki and Okaya have finally arrived. But Maria had already finished her job, so she went to her car where Yuda was also sitting. When Yuda apologized for causing problems for her, she said that she was planning on killing Kinugawa after summer holidays, but because of Yuda, she had to make adjustments in her plan. As Maria has thrown Kinugawa's phone in the mud, she thought that Okaya is most likely soaking in the mud finding Kinugawa's phone. Right then, Yuda received a call from his mom. He picked it up, and his mom asked him to come back because Okaya is here. When Yuda heard that Okaya went to his house, he got scared and immediately muted the call. He wondered why Okaya went to his house. It turns out that when Okaya was going for Kinugawa following the GPS, he heard some people saying how Taichiro, a detective, got robbed today. When Okaya heard that, he asked Ajiki if they're going to Yuda's house. Ajiki asked him why he's not going after Kinugawa. Okaya said that there's something more important than that. He told Ajiki that since that father isn't in commission right now, there is a high chance that the kidnapper is the mother, but from the fact that the police have yet to find even a single hint that ties her to the crimes, if they were to blindly chase the GPS, they might just end up walking into Nagari's mother's trap. Hence, while the culprit is playing with her prey right now, Okaya thinks that it would be a good idea to check out the possibility of a collaborator. Hearing that, Ajiki asked him if the one who killed Ijima is the collaborator and also asked him if he has an idea who can be the collaborator. Okaya said that when Kawase and Shurikimi disappeared, the possibility of the culprit being someone related to Nagar skyrocketed. And if Okaya were to add a third person into this equation, the only suitable candidate that comes to his mind is Yuda. Even Okaya doubts that scaredy cat Yuda will be able to kill them. He still wants to check if he has even a minor involvement in any incidents that happened until now. They can go back to following Kinugawa if Yuda isn't involved in any crime. If Yuda is guilty, it will help them a lot in finding Nagari's missing mother. Meanwhile, Yuda still hasn't answered the phone and he's really worried for his mom. He asked Maria to help him, but she said that she's no god. However, the same goes for Okaya. In the end, Maria decided to teach him how to fight so he could protect his mother himself. Subscribe for the next part.